Okay, that's why you should have been here.
Hey.
I
ain't go home safely though, because I wasn't here.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you should. I think we do that camera got a mic in it?
It is, but it's not activated on the laptop. When I be doing recording sessions, I deactivate all the extra sounds so when we do back here and stuff, it don't feed.
Oh, so this whole time?
Well, I was talking this out.
It's all good, because the questions was for people in here. But I'm sorry for those that was tuning in, and we got anybody tuning in. Okay, cool. But go ahead, sis.
Well, I think that lasciviousness might have grown out of proportion. Like, I think that it might be something that still vexes the Lord, even within marriages, because I think, like, even if you look at, like, how animals, like, they have mating seasons, right?
Okay.
Like, and there's, like, a very, like, it's, like, very, like, rhythmic, or, like how, it's not, like, unorganized. Like, I know this sounds kind of weird, but, like, I think that, like, lasciviousness has grown so much that, like, and from media and, like, all sorts of things, that now, like, society's giving me birth control, but to try to, like, cut back population or whatever they're trying to do. But really, like, if man should just learn to contain themselves or to, like, stop, like, their flesh more, then I think that, like sometimes, I don't know, I think, I don't know, it's just a thought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but and I get what you're saying, sis, but that's why we looked at the law of God.
Sure, and I agree with that.
Like, that trumps overall, just because of the fact of, like, that's been removed. So there's no guidelines to how the man is supposed to live. There's no guidelines to how the woman is supposed to live. So everybody's living according to how they want to live. And if we living like that, then you're going to have the society that we in.
Yeah.
So you got to realize, like, everybody isn't a prodigy of their environment. I come from an environment that might not be the same as this brother or you, but I can say that my environment was pretty rough. Because I got brothers that's in the grave. I got brothers that's alive. I got family members that's strung out on dope. I got all that going on within the prodigy that I grew up from. I wasn't a part of that environment. I didn't get out on the corner and sell dope. You know what I mean? I made a decision, not down talking anybody in my family, though. But it's just the fact that we make conscious decisions. So if we making conscious decisions, the conscious decision that you and I made that's common is we fear God and we're going to keep his commandments. That's our common conscious decision that you and I have. But when you look at society, nobody ain't operating like that. You know what I mean? So in other words, birth control, yes, that's a cover-up to keep fornication, to keep going. That's the cover-up. You know what I mean? We're going to keep this fornication going and going and going. One thing, I don't even care about politics, but one thing I can say about the Republicans is that they make you accountable for your actions. They're against birth control. They're against homosexuals. They're against all of that. You know what I mean? But the world is pushing that on you. Take this pill to cover up your sexual acts. So, I mean, society is society. That's why in that 1 John chapter 5 we saw is that the world lying wickedness. So we can't base the society on how the Bible operates if the society isn't operating up under the rules of God. You know what I mean? It's just another good for conversation. That's really what it is. I mean, society been doing that before you and I came around. They've been experimenting with birth control, all kind of preventive actions on man populating. That's been the case. Go look at Egypt. What occurred with the children of Israel in Exodus chapter 2. So, it's kind of like you give credit to science, though. That's where I'm going with it. You know what I mean? I know you probably might not be doing that intentionally, but it's like, you'll give, and I'm saying in general, not you, but it's like you'll give credit to science. The reason why the outcome for man is the way it is. But the reason why the outcome for man the way it is because this Bible has been taken up off the table. So now everybody at a busy intersection with no stoplights. You know, but that's cool. You sure?
That's how
Okay. She telling the truth, Tony? I'm just playing. I'm just joking. Anybody have some comments to that? You got a comment to that?
Yeah, I was looking at the definition of lascivious, right? And it says, the first definition says, inclined to lustfulness, wanton lewd. And it gives an example like a lascivious girl chasing an old man. At the first definition. The second definition says, arousing sexual desire through photographs. I can see that down the line of pornography. You know what I'm saying? They get to use photographs for your sexual desires.
Mm-hmm.
And verse 3, and 3 says, indicating sexual interest or expressing of lust or lewdness, a lascivious gesture. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that refers to anyone outside of your marriage. You see it?
Right.
Because all, like I said, when it says the marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled. Now that word undefiled kind of explore that word as far as in terms of what God considers undefiled and the bed, you know.
Between a husband and a wife.
Yeah, between a husband and a wife.
Right.
I mean, what's the broad spectrum of the word undefiled? You know, I mean, like, cause it's different kind of sexual activity. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you see what I'm getting at?
it's whatever goes.
Okay, so whatever goes.
Between a husband and a wife.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But I'm just saying, see, when you say lasciviousness, you know what I mean? That's far as a person outside of your marriage.
Yeah, that goes somewhere else.
That's trying to see everybody get understanding of
Yeah, that goes somewhere
So
else.
as long as you between your husband and wife, it's in the parameters of God.
Yeah, it's whatever.
All I want to know.
Yeah,
Because everybody will have that same question. Like, okay, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
You got to make that clear.
Right.
I knew you was done saying you didn't clarify. I know you
Yeah, but you have to. Because some people get the wrong misunderstanding. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As long as we talk about the parameters of husband and wife, then it's legal.
That's what we talking
That's
about.
what's up.
You know what I mean? That's why you can't be defrauding your husband.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't be defrauding your wife because you gonna push her into thinking outside of marriage. You know, when it comes to her sexual want. You know, she gonna be like, I ain't a week straight. All right. You know, next door neighbor been very generous to me. So, you know, all right. You know, so now it goes to that aspect. But, you know, between a husband and a wife, what they doing in the bedroom, that's undefiled. You know what I mean? That's undefiled. So, however,
that was for my edification too, because you know.
yeah, whatever goes. You know, I ain't gonna say whatever,
I know,
but between that man and that woman,
what
you know, whatever goes. Cause somebody might be like, "Well, shoot, can I get somebody else in the pit?" Nah, you going too far now, cause now you throwing some fornication in there, man. Yeah, so yeah. But what you got, Micah?
You got a question?
You
got a question?
Ask your question.
He ain't got none. Anybody else got anything? Oh, you said you shook your head, Obi? What does it mean to be unequally yoked? All right. Let's go to Amos chapter 3. Amos chapter 3. Start off at Amos 3:1. Go ahead.
Hear the word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the family of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquity.
Mm-hmm.
Can two walk together except they be agreed?
They can't walk together.
Will a lion roar in the forest when he had no prey?
Go ahead.
Will a lion cry out of his den if he had taken nothing?
So we saw what we saw in verse 3. It says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" They can't walk together. You know, they got to be on the same page. Let's go look at it over here in 1 Corinthians chapter 6. But before we go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, let's go to Philippians chapter 2. Because this is, you know, you being equally yoked. You got to be in agreement with one another when it comes to this walk. You know, if you serving the God of Israel and your wife want to serve Buddha, y'all going to have issues. You know what I mean? It's going to be issues, but let's look at this. Philippians chapter 2, and let's read verses 1 through 2. Go ahead.
If there be therefore any consolation in Christ, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any vow and
Mercies.
mercy,
Mm-hmm.
fulfill ye my joy,
Go ahead.
that you be like-minded.
Hold on. It said that you be like-minded. You know, it says what? If any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any vows and mercies, fulfill ye joy that ye be like-minded. You know, if you ain't yoked evenly together, then you unequally yoked. That means y'all not even. That means one is taller, the other one is shorter. Nah, y'all want to be on the same level. So it says that ye be like-minded. What else?
Fulfill your joy, that you be like-minded, having the same love,
Go ahead.
being of one accord, of one mind.
So y'all are one. You know, it's no more you being two. You know, y'all are on the same playing field. You know, we get it. Like, you know, it's not, babe, you know, this year we going to bring a Christmas tree in. The following year we not going to bring one. Nah, we are never bringing a Christmas tree in the house. Because what? The husband says it and the wife agree with it. So everybody is on the same playing field. Let's go over here to 1 Corinthians real quick. Let's go read that. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. You know, that's why in 1 Corinthians 7, we're going to read that as well. Is that, you know, you had a believing husband and you had an unbelieving wife. You had a believing wife and you had an unbelieving husband. Well, you know, shoot, your house is covered by that believing wife or that believing husband. You know what I mean? But what we saw is that they both wasn't on the same believing level. You know, because one didn't believe. So let's look at this. Let's look at this 1 Corinthians chapter 6. I'm sorry.
2 Corinthians.
No, 1 Corinthians.
Unequally yoked.
Nah, but we want to read this though first.
Okay.
1 Corinthians chapter 6. Nah, you cool. Thank you though. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. And let's read 16.
What? Know you not that he which is joined to an house is one body?
Go ahead.
For two say, he shall be one flesh.
Keep reading.
But he that is joined unto the Lord
You see that?
is one spirit.
You see now, when you join to the Lord, you become one spirit. But, you know, when you land with a harlot, y'all become one flesh. Keep going, though. What else it reads? Verse 18.
Flee fornication.
Go ahead.
Every sin that a man does is without the body, but he that committed...
I'm sorry. We ain't read 15. That's what I want.
15.
Yeah.
Know you not that your body are the member of Christ?
Michael, turn around and keep it down. Okay.
Shall I then take the member of Christ and make them the member of a harlot?
What it
God
say?
forbid.
God forbid. So you being your body being the members of Christ, you can't make your body a member with the harlot. Like, nah. Because you being a member of Christ, that's light. You can't be a member with darkness. Let's go and look at that in 1 John chapter 3 right quick. I'm sorry, 1 John chapter 1. Then we're going to go to that 2 Corinthians. 1 John.
1 John 1.
Yeah, 1 John chapter 1. 1 John chapter 1. And let's pick it up at verse 5. 1 John chapter 1 and 5.
This then is the message which we have heard of him and declared unto you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness
Going back to
at
that,
all.
going back to that 1 Corinthians 6. You know, hey, you're a member of Christ. You can't join your body to a member of a harlot. Nah, because you light. So Christ represents light. That harlot represents darkness. But what else it reads? What does it say in verse 6?
If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth.
So you can't be saying you represent the Lord, but you got darkness behind it. Nah, because you lying. That's what the book is reading. What does it say in verse 7?
But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light.
You see that? Now we're looking at that Philippians chapter 2. Because now it's saying what? We on one accord. Christ is the light. We walking in the light. What else it says?
We have fellowship one with another.
Keep reading.
And the blood of Jesus Christ, his son, cleanses us from all sin.
Let's go over here to 2 Corinthians chapter 7 now. So everybody on one accord, man. You know, that's what it trickles all the way down to. Everybody playing on the same team, and your common goal is salvation. That's the common goal. 2 Corinthians 6, did I say 7?
7.
I meant to say 6.
Okay.
2 Corinthians chapter 6. Go ahead and start at 14.
Be you not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
You see that? Like you can't be unequally yoked with them. You're a believer, but yet they're an unbeliever. Like, that ain't gonna work. And then it will, but it's gonna be friction. It's gonna be chaos. You know what I mean? You getting ready Friday night for the Sabbath. Sabbath in. Your old lady, she cooking dinner for the kids. You know what I mean? She kindling a fire. So now you like, man, what the heck you doing, woman? Well, I don't serve that guy. That's what's going to be going on within a household because it's unequally yoked. So it says what? Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Go ahead.
For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness?
Go ahead.
And what communion have light with darkness?
Remember what we just read in 1 John chapter 1? The Lord said, hey, I'm light, and if you fellowship in light, hey, we all fellowship one together. You know, it didn't say that verbatim, but that's what it was getting at. Letting you know is that, hey, if you walking in the light, you walking in Christ. But guess what we just seen right here in verse 15? It says, the bottom of 14. It says, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness? There is no communion. What is saying 15?
And what concord had Christ with Belial?
So Belial, you know, that's the son of the devil. That's what that is. You know, but Christ, you are a son of God. So y'all don't have no concord with each other. Keep reading.
What part has he that believe with an infidel.
Keep going.
And what agreement had the temple of God with ours? For you are the temple of the living God.
You see that? You the temple of the living God. Keep going.
And God has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Keep going.
Wherefore come out from among them,
And be what?
and be you separated.
You see that? Be ye separate. You know what I mean? Like, nah, you don't want your light to be dimmed by darkness. You know, you want to take this light all the way to the end. But if you got a straggler that's full of darkness on your back end, like, they trying to dim your light. That's what they trying to do. They trying to dim your light. Now they trying to pull that old man back up out of you. Because that's what it's going to go to. Like, you trying to walk a life of peace. You know what I mean? But yet, this woman, all she's trying to do is just bring that old man out of you. That's it. Like, why you want to see that old man? Because they don't understand the light. You know, they blinded with darkness. So that's what's eventually going to become of you. You know, you're going to relapse. You're going to be like, man, I'm walking with the Lord, and, you know, sister don't cause me to relapse. Because she want to deal with this folly. You know what I mean? And that's why, you know, the Lord was not wanting the children of Israel to marry into other nations. Because of that one reason. They would turn their hearts from serving him. And that's why you don't want to be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. Because, you know, it never works out good. All your life is going to be a thorn in your side until she converted or till he converted. You know, but, you know, to just start right out the gate, you know, not saying that all are like that. Because, shoot, you know, my wife want to believe him. I bought her into the word. You know what I mean? So, even working with that, we had to shake some cardwells up out of her. We still doing that. Yeah. So, you good with that, OB? Okay, praise God. Anybody else got anything? Whatever, Michael.
When Paul says, like, let not uncleanness be mentioned among you one time, what kind of, like, uncleanness would that be?
Where we at? We just read that, didn't we?
No, we read in a different.
Yeah, I'm saying we just read that from somewhere.
Yeah, because I've been studying uncleanness, and Paul wrote about it in, like, Galatians, Ephesians, and Colossians, and, like not to have any uncleanness, along with a list of other works of the flesh, saying that, like, you can't get into the kingdom of God. And so, like, I was studying the Old Testament, and, like, when the Lord says, like, be holy for he's holy, it's not just, like, the dietary law what I was recognizing, but also, like, don't go out of dead body, like, don't, you know, like, there's all these other rules. And so, like, when Paul says, let not uncleanness be mentioned with the other list of stuff among you one time, and we think about all the unclean ways that we go about the Sabbath day, and I don't know, it's just like, ooh, that's a little scary.
It is, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what he meant, though.
Yeah.
When he talked about don't let no uncleanliness be mentioned among you, he wasn't talking about, you know, no food. He was talking about
But like just like fornication, like a big umbrella. Like I understand like cleanliness to be as well, but like wouldn't that even pertain to like menstrual cycle and like things like that people like we don't necessarily always follow, but wouldn't that still be considered like a cleanliness law?
Yeah, that's a cleanliness law. There is according to that. I mean, we follow it. You know, we follow it because I ain't laying with my wife when she on her menstrual cycle.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, far as in like trying to put out of the house just to make sure everything is on clean. before I keep going, what you got, Brother T? Okay. You got something to add to that?
But that's not in the Bible. It doesn't say when you're not in the land of Jerusalem, don't just go ahead and disobey cleanliness laws. Like you shouldn't add sin to sin. Would be my argument.
So let's go and read that. That's what we're dealing with, right? Hold on, before we go read that,
Yeah.
that's what we're dealing with, right? All right, let's go and read that. All right, let's go to Leviticus. Because, I mean, before we go to Leviticus, let's go to Isaiah 26. Because you're right. I mean, but we got to keep in perspective, you know, we're going to read in Leviticus, like, something that I think I overread. We're in Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24, not 26. Isaiah 24, because what we doing, Sister Claire, you know, we doing the best that we could do. You know, the best that we can. Right. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, I told my wife this year, you know what I mean? Hey, because years before, be like, hey, you can't come to church after you have a baby. But, you know, as you continue to increase in the word, you start to increase in knowledge. I was like, babe, this year, it's your choice. If you want to come back early or not. And, you know, she was with the same notion you was, Sister Claire. You know, well, nah. I was like, well, if somebody try to come up to you and jam you up with that, just know that you can go back to church if you want to. You know, just because of the fact that we aren't in the land. But again, operating within the mindset according to that we're in the land right now. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, people who do it, hey, I don't knock it. I told my wife, hey, if you want to do that, fine, so be it. You know, but to say that since that sister ain't doing it, she breaking the law, we can't do that. You know what I mean? Just because of the fact of like, she may see it fit the way I'm looking at it, as far as in that we aren't in the land. You know, then you may see it fit to the fact that so we ain't in the land, we can still be trying to do it. But when we read this, you got to do it exactly how we're going to read it. So just keep that in mind. But let's read this Isaiah 24 first. Isaiah 24, and pick it up at verse 4 for me. When you get it, you can go ahead and read it.
The earth mourn and fade away. The word lavish language and faded away.
Go ahead.
The
Haughty
people of the earth do the language.
So the haughty people, you know, your people, what, your Joel Osteen, your Al Sharpton, you know, all these people, the big wigs, you know, it says they haughty. You know, the haughty people of the earth do languish. I mean, they're going to get weak and fade away. Because they're going to be they're going to be of the past. You know, because the cat going to get out the bag about these haughty people. Right? But what it says in verse 5, though?
The earth also is defiled under the inhabited. Therefore, because they have transgressed the law.
They have did what?
Transgressed the law.
So they have broken the laws. Understand, this is why we got kicked out of the land. We got kicked out of the land is because the fact that we did transgress the laws. So now by us transgressing the laws, it didn't just go from Israel or Jerusalem. It is now on a worldwide scale because the world ain't keeping the commandments of God. The world don't deal with the laws of God. So it says what? The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants there because they have transgressed the laws. What else?
Changes the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
So they don't change some of God's ordinances. That's why tomorrow is supposed to be the Christian Sabbath day. You know what I mean? That's why I think in a couple of weeks from now, you know, this is when Christ was supposed to have been born. That's why a couple of months after that, you're going to go into, his death and resurrection. These are ordinances that have been added, and they change the ordinances of God to these ordinances. So this is why what? The earth is defiled by the inhabitants thereof. So it says they changed the ordinances, they broken the everlasting covenant. What is saying verse 6?
Therefore had the curse devoured the earth.
We talking about death. That's the curse that has devoured the earth. You got more cemeteries than you do elementary schools. You know what I mean? Because what? Death is always a constant. That is something always going about until the Lord return and take it off the table. But we see is that what? Verse 5 said, hey, the earth is defiled. So ain't nothing clean about this earth. Nothing. Right now in this room, we probably got people 5 hotel rooms down having sex. It might be 2 men. You know what I mean? What? We got bathroom stalls all throughout this whole building. They cook unclean foods for breakfast. See, we got to keep all that in this proper perspective. So now let's go over here to Leviticus. Because again, Leviticus 18, there's nothing wrong with you practicing. Before we go to Leviticus, let's go to Leviticus 18. There's nothing wrong with you practicing. But what we finna read is you got to do it exactly like this. Exactly like this. And then when you read it, like I said, I read it one way years ago. Then when I read it again, it's not like if my wife unclean, I walk up to her and now I'm unclean. Nah, that ain't how it is. If she on her phone and I go give her a hug, now I'm unclean. No, that's not how it works. We finna read it. It works wherever she lay that blood at, wherever that puddle of blood is, that's what makes it unclean. But just understand who we dealing with and what we dealing with. We dealing with Levites. We dealing with when we was in the land. So Leviticus 18 and is it verse? It ain't even 18, is it? Nah, that ain't it. Hold on for a second. It's 10. My bad. Leviticus 15. Leviticus 15. And let's pick it up at verse 23. Because you got to realize if this was the case, just understand how they had it set up in the land. So if this was the case, I don't think, we'll have a Sabbath class. Seriously. Probably except for Brother Addison. Right. You know what I mean? Not to be trying to highlight Brother Addison, but, I don't know.
Clean.
Right. I don't think we'll have, I don't know. Brothers might not be here. They all got ladies. They all, everybody be unclean. So, who will be at class? If that's what we dealing with. But let's just read this right quick and just understand. It's not that we getting away from the ordinance. It's just that how can we do it? Because it got to be done. It got to be done properly. It can't be done just, if you're doing it, that's fine. But to just try to implement it over everybody, it got to be done according to how we see it written. And if it ain't done like that, then it's not being done properly because you're not getting rid of all the uncleanliness. There's still some uncleanliness on the surface, and somebody's going to get defiled. You know what I mean? So let's look at this Leviticus 15. What you got?
Okay. Don't we have the same thing in the land as we have here? What makes the difference? That's what I'm getting.
What makes the difference?
Yeah, if we was in the land, if we not, because we still gonna be human beings in that.
Right.
So what make you able to change the laws here, but we have to keep the laws if we was in our own country? It's the same God.
Right.
and we dealing with the same thing. The Bible said he don't dwell in unclean places, right?
Right.
So God set the place where he is working at. He set it aside because when we come in here and we count this as where God had put his name. And so when we come in here, we as men, we remove our headgear.
Right.
Women put on their headgear.
Right.
Because this is a place where God has said, I don't do this when I walk in the hallway out there. Because God hasn't set that for a place for his name to be. So to me, and maybe I'm wrong, to me, if he said that you are unclean, and this is where he has set his name to be, then you still should be unclean whether you're in the land or not in the land.
Right.
Now, this way my understanding, because clean, when you clean, he said that you're not supposed to do certain things when you clean. Well, man, how can man? That's sort of like Paul saying that you didn't have to be circumcised. But I understand, I don't want to get in there, but I understand what Paul was saying because they're gonna be taught every week. So here, I think we're getting away from the ordinance when we said, well, we're not gonna do this because we should show the same reverence to God,
right?
Because see, the same we could do where we was in the land or not. You still got people. That's why, like you said, that's why we were kicked out because we weren't doing what we supposed to do anyway at that time. Right. But how can we leave from the land that we got kicked out from? That's sort of like you said, you got out of jail for stealing. Then you go right back out and steal again. See, so if you get out of jail, then you don't steal no more. So you got kicked out of the land for not doing right, then why go somewhere else and then still don't do right?
Right. So
I mean that's
a good point. But the land says it all. And the reason why I say that is because, like I was saying, you could do the best you can do here within captivity.
Right.
But we don't have this type of government that we had when we was in the land. We're going to read some of them in Numbers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We don't have the government that we had when we was in the land. The government meaning, hey, take them outside of the congregation and stone them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, get them up out of here. Better yet, hey, she got a whole nother dwelling unit that she can go and dwell in for 7 days. On the 8th day, she clean. Go ahead and put her in that dwelling unit by herself so that she don't leave any blood or anywhere in the household. And now it makes the whole house become unclean. Because when you're dealing with the Levites, like that's why, just understand, dealing with the Levites, like, if they became unclean, they can't do God's business. Mm-hmm. Now, if they can't do God's business, they get cut off. Mm-hmm. We're going to go read that too. Okay. So it's like what we doing right now is the best that we can. You know what I mean? Like, this is a location that Israel Church of Jesus, put towards where, hey, man, we need a location of fellowship. God in the midst of it, because God see what's going on. God see that the word is being furthered. So God sees all of that. But for this to just say, this is where the Lord is dwelling at, I don't think that's the case. But let's go and read this right quick.
Okay.
Let's go and read Leviticus 15, and let's pick it up at
23.
Pick it up at 16.
16.
We'll look at it all.
And if any man see a compilation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be clean until the evening.
That's what goes on between a man and a woman. You know, they lay together. Seed of copulation is what make babies. All right, what is saying?
And every garment and every skin whereupon is the seed of the copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the evening.
Right.
The woman also with whom man shall lie with, seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water
Right.
and be unclean until the evening. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue is her flesh, be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days.
Hold on. What it said? Put a what?
Put apart.
Put apart. That means she gonna be put apart from the house.
Okay.
She ain't gonna be, you know, oh, we're gonna put you in a bedroom, you know, our 3-bedroom, we're gonna put you off in one section of the house. Nah, she gonna be put apart. We gonna go and read it somewhere else again to further what they saying right here. Keep going though.
And whosoever touches her shall be unclean until the evening.
Go ahead.
And everything that she lies upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean.
Keep reading.
And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening.
So wherever she left her fountain, or if she left a trail of it, if it was on the bed and, you know, the man got in the mix of it, that's unclean. That got to get cleaned up. Go ahead.
And whosoever toucheth anything that she set upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be clean until the evening.
Right.
And if it be on her bed or
What
on
it just said, if it be. What we talking about? The blood.
the blood.
Go ahead. Wait, Claire went. Cause this partially for her too. Hold on, brother Ash.
Okay.
Cause this, she need to hear this too. While he doing that, I'm finna go find the other stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you leaving? We this. Yeah.
I will go back and listen to what I missed.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, bro.
And if it be on her bed or on anything wherein she sitteth, when he touches it, he shall be unclean until the evening.
Go ahead.
And if any man lie with her at all, and her flower be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and
Cheers.
all the bed whereupon he lies shall be unclean.
Where you at, brother Addison?
25.
Okay, skip down to 27. No. Skip down to 20. Well, you know what? Read all the way through. Go ahead.
Okay. But if a woman have an issue of blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the day of her separation. She shall be unclean.
So she gonna be separated.
Right.
Keep reading though.
Every bed wherein she lies all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation, and whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean,
Go ahead.
as the unclean of her separation. And whosoever toucheth these things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
Go ahead.
But if she be clean of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean.
Go ahead.
And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtle of 2 young pigeons, and bring them into the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Go ahead.
And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of the uncleanness.
Mm-hmm.
Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not.
Hold on, they do what?
They die not.
So you got to separate the children of Israel from their uncleanliness because, hey, you can die. Right? What else it says?
Not in their uncleanness when they defile my tabernacle.
They defile what?
My tabernacle.
See, this is the
That-
thing. You know, he talking about the tabernacle. This ain't a tabernacle. You know what I mean? Like, nah, this ain't the tabernacle. So, you know, if this was the tabernacle, hey, it'd be a lot of dead people in here. A lot. Because you defiling the Lord's tabernacle. You know what I mean? Like I said, the people that's like 5 rooms down, they might be getting it on. Hey, you don't supposed to be doing that on the Sabbath. And not only that, what we read in Leviticus 15 and 16, if ye steal the seed of copulation, hey, you unclean to the evening. What you just did, you just made yourself unclean and you finna get killed. Or better yet, hey, if you own your fountain and you just came up in here, you dead. Not only you, if you sat in that chair and your husband sat in that chair behind you, both of y'all dead because y'all ain't supposed to be doing that inside of here. But just understand, this isn't the Lord's tabernacle. It isn't. This is just a building where we have church at. And yes, we doing the best we can because we reading what the law say and we doing what thus say the Lord. But far as in what we're reading right here, we are far from this. But we're going to keep going though. What else it reads?
Not in their uncleanness when they defile the tabernacle that is among them. This is the law of him that has an issue, and of him whose seed goes from him, and is defiled therewith.
Let's go over here to Numbers real quick. Let's go over here to Numbers 23. Numbers 23. Before we go to Numbers 20, let's go to Numbers 9, and then we're going to go to Numbers 23.
Number what?
Numbers 9. Numbers 9. Hold on one second. Numbers 9. Go ahead and start at verse 1 for me.
And the Lord spoke unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the first month of the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at his appointed season. In the 15th day of the month at evening, ye shall keep it in his appointed season, according to all the writ and of it, and according to all the ceremony thereof shall you keep it. And Moses spoke unto the children of Israel that they should keep the Passover. And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at evening in the wilderness of Sinai.
Mm-hmm.
According to all the Lord commanded Moses, so did the children of Israel. And there was a certain man who was defiled by the dead body of a man,
Go ahead.
that they could not keep the Passover on that day.
You see that? Like, they was defiled by a dead body. They couldn't even keep the Passover. This is where you got to, the second time you can keep the Passover, but the first time, apparently, they was unclean.
Mm-hmm.
But keep going, though.
On that day, they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day. And those men said unto him, We are defiled by the dead body of a man, wherefore we kept back that we may not offer an offering of the Lord in his appointed season among the children of Israel.
Hold on. So it says we can't even offer an offering unto the Lord at his appointed season among the children of Israel. Keep going. Now, what it say in verse 8?
And Moses said unto them, stand still, and I will hear what the Lord will command concerning you.
So the Lord is finna give Moses the commandment concerning this man who was amongst the dead body. What it say in verse 9?
And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a man of you of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or be in a journey afar off, yet he shall keep the Passover unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
The 14th day of the second month at evening they shall keep it, and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herb.
So they got to keep it the second month. Keep going, though.
They shall leave none of it until the morning, nor break any bone of it. According to all the ordinance of the Passover, they shall keep it.
Mm-hmm.
But the man that is clean and is not in a journey, and forbear to keep the Passover, even the same soul shall be cut off from among the people, because he brought not the offering of the Lord in his appointed season. That man shall bear his sin.
Let's go to Numbers 23. So we see is that what? If you amongst the dead body, you can't keep the Passover. You got to wait a full month in order for you to keep the Passover the second time. Let's look at Numbers 23 now.
Okay.
Numbers 23, and let's pick it up at verse 1. Numbers 23.
And Balaam said unto Balak, build me here seven altars and prepare.
I'm sorry. Deuteronomy 23. I'm looking right at it.
Okay.
My bad. Deuteronomy 23. Deuteronomy 23. I'm trying to find where they put the woman out of the congregation because she was unclean. That's what I'm trying to look for. But go ahead and pick it up at verse 1.
He that is wounded in the stone, or had his private member cut off, shall not enter unto the congregation of the Lord.
So if you've been castrated or if you've been wounded in your stones, you know what your stones is for males, you can't come into the congregation of the Lord. Skip down to 12 though. Let's deal with that. I'm sorry, verse 9. Read that.
When the host goes forth against thy enemy, then keep thee from every wicked thing.
Now this right here is what's going to set everything in its perspective as to why here in America, this is impossible to try and keep. This right here, what we finna read. What it say in verse 10?
Okay. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, that chanted him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp.
Hold on. So he said, hey, if there's a man amongst you that's unclean, hey, he need to go out of the camp. Because what it said in verse 11?
But it shall be, when Eden come on, he shall wash himself with water.
So he got to wash himself. The same rule apply for the woman. She got to be separated. She's separated from her household is because by her being in her fountain, she could pollute or make her husband become unclean. Well, what if her husband is a Levite? Now you don't risk him or almost put his death up on his life up on the table because of the reason of you making him unclean. So that's why you had to be separated. The same cause right here. You know, hey, it says, if there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanliness, that chance him by night, Then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp. Pick that back up where you left off at, Brother Addison.
Okay.
Or you can just start at 11 at a time.
Yeah. But it shall be when evening come, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again.
Pay attention to these verses right here, verse 12.
Thou shalt have a place also without the camp,
Go ahead.
whether thou shalt go forth abroad.
So we don't have that today. We don't have a location where you can go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And keep it in this proper perspective. Because, shoot, if you go probably in your backyard, shoot, your next door neighbor, you know, they probably don't defile that area with barbecuing some ribs. You know what I mean? Then you try to go across the street, like, shoot, that might be defiled with, you know, some sodomites running a whorehouse across the street. I don't know. But that's why we read that Isaiah 24. Because that Isaiah 24 covers the whole entire earth. That Isaiah 24 says the whole earth is defiled by the inhabitants thereof. So, hey, what we doing is we trying to do the best that we can, but peep this out, though, because it's telling you. In verse 12, it says, thou shalt have a place also without the camp, whether thou shalt go forth abroad. 13.
And thou shalt have a padded,
A pedal.
a pedal, I'm sorry.
Nah, you good.
And thou shalt have a pedal upon thy weapon,
Uh-huh.
and it shall be when thou wilt ease thyself.
So we
abroad.
talking about, you know, you doing number 2. You gonna ease yourself abroad. You gonna have a pedal, and what you gonna do with that pedal?
And thou shalt dig within, and shall turn back and cover that coming from thee.
So why is he doing this? Check out what verse 14 say. Go ahead.
For the Lord thy God walketh in the midst of thy camp.
This how close
to
the Lord.
live-
This how close the Lord was to this tabernacle. You know what I mean? He was just that close. Like the Lord is walking in the midst of the people, and he like, hey, look here, hey man, take your pedal, scoop up your poop, and get it from amongst us because I'm walking in the midst of y'all. I don't want to mess around and step in this. Man, the Lord would have been on shut this whole hotel down if he was walking in the midst of us, man. He would have blew this place up day one because they buying and selling on the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been like shut down operation, but what we doing is we just doing the best we can in the land of our captivity. But we see right here what? When they was in the land, see, this is the big difference right here. This is the difference when they was in the land, they truly had the God of Israel walking about them. He said what? Hey, make sure you scoop your poop and remove it. Because in 14 it says, for the Lord thy God walk in the midst of thy camp. Keep reading.
To deliver thee, and to give up thy enemy before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy.
You see that? Thy camp shall be holy. Go ahead.
That he see no unclean thing in thee, and turn away from thee.
You see that? The Lord is that close. He's that near during this time frame. So, I mean, hey, you can do it if you want to, but yeah, you know, you.
I appreciate that. It makes sense. It's just something that I kind of was looking into, and I was still edified by what I was learning, you know, about all the different ways you can get clean and things. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, sis, you know, if that's something you want to do, you know, that's between how you and your husband want to coordinate that.
But if my husband doesn't, like, he doesn't let me, then, but if that's the understanding that God's given me, then I kind of get in this weird position, like.
But we just read right here as to how they was able to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How they was doing it because they were amongst God before his tabernacle. You know what I mean? Like, it's I'm not saying it's pointless. I'm not saying that at all, but like, how are you going to be able to do it? According to what we just read, the Lord said in verse 12, thou shalt have a place also without the camp. So that means they got a particular location outside of the camp just for these circumstances.
Yeah, I get it, because this isn't, like, it would almost, I was thinking about, like, it almost being an organization trying to abide by that, but then who would come to church, you know, because I can say, oh, well, I'll stay home because I believe in a cleanliness law, you know, but I don't know if that.
I mean, hey, if you want to stay home, you know.
So, and if I have to work out my own salvation, then that's what I gotta do, you know, but then if my husband yells at me, tells me to get in the car, it's like, I don't know,
Well,
kind of difficult. But would you say, like, if that's the choice that I want to make and work out my own salvation, I should be able to stay home or no?
well, I ain't feeling say all that. You know what I mean? Hey, your husband is your head, so I ain't definitely still speak against what he got to say, you know. But it's just that is I with my wife, I was like, whatever. That's what you want to do? Okay, so all right. Well, you better keep some of these kids here with you then. That's how I rock it. But exactly, you know what I mean? No. That's the thing. It's like it's. I mean, let's go and read something else. You know, let's go to Romans chapter 10. Cause I mean, it's nothing wrong with what your husband is saying. You know, like if we reading, you know, there's no. You got to do it exactly how we just read it. This is how you got to do it. You got to do it exactly how we reading it. So if we're not reading it exactly how we reading it, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like you're not doing it how we read it. You making something up. You know what I mean? And it gotta be not saying you yourself is making something up, just saying the fact that let's read this Romans chapter 10 real quick. Romans chapter 10. And read verse 2 for me. Go ahead.
For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge.
So, you know, we got the zeal, but you on the other half, you got knowledge. You know, but this talking about Israel who got the zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. So it's like you got the knowledge, understanding that, hey, what benefit are we receiving behind me not coming to class? Because the book say keep a holy convocation. You know, that's what the Bible says. So it says keep a holy convocation. So if you ain't keeping a holy convocation, you know, what you doing?
But then I would be abiding by the law of God, and my husband would be going to church, and I would be keeping my garments white. You know, I would be trying to be separated.
You talking about?
I would be trying to be separated with the clean on the last day, and I would, because if I'm not going to abide by cleanliness laws, then what makes God want to choose me as a sheep? You know, that could be a part of my salvation, where He said, I gave you the opportunity, I gave you the understanding, I put someone in your life to help you understand the cleanliness laws, and you understood how the priests are going to be in trouble with me, that they didn't separate clean and unclean, but I gave you the understanding, and you chose not to because you were afraid of what man thought.
And let's go to John chapter 1 right quick. I got you. Let's go to John chapter 1. John chapter 1, read one verse for me. Verse 17. Go ahead.
For the law was given by Moses.
So understand the law, you know. God gave Moses the law. So, you know, but Moses was the one that administered the law through what? Genesis all the way through Numbers. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So, you know, he ministered the law from Genesis to Deuteronomy, right? Read the rest of that, though, bro.
But grace and truth came by Jesus Christ.
So grace and truth came by Jesus Christ.
Sure.
So now, Let's go to Ezekiel real quick. Grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. You know, so it's kind of like we got some mercy. We got some, well, Ezekiel ain't gonna have nothing to really deal with what we're talking about. So we ain't even gotta go there. But because it's talking about when we went into the land of Nebuchadnezzar. So it ain't. But we have grace and truth now. Yeah, we under grace and truth.
Okay, because like the last thing I was gonna ask is like, so what makes like whenever like you have to have your righteousness has to exceed the scribes and Pharisees? What would make that difference?
Because that's what you want. You want what the scribes and Pharisees on, far as in like the cleanliness law and this and that. Like that's what you want, because let's go and read that. They was all on the law of Moses, the law of Moses, the law of Moses. They ain't want to do nothing what Jesus was coming at them with. That's why we read that John 1:17. It's because with Jesus brought you grace and truth. Meaning like, due to our circumstances, things are understood. You know, and I say that by what I read, not by me speaking on, or I just got this revelation. And I say that based upon what I read, is that things are understood. Based upon what we was just reading in Numbers, how can you keep the cleanliness law all the way to the T? Like, how can you do it? So if you ain't doing it all the way to the T, guess what you're doing? You are still defiling the Lord's tabernacle. But guess what? This ain't the Lord's tabernacle. So this whole building is already defiled. Now, again, between you and your husband, if that's something you want to do, hey, okay, but guess what? You doing it ain't no greater than this sister who might not be doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, that's like with the fringes. You know what I mean? I don't kick against people who wear them. But at the same time, I'm wearing fringes. And the Bible says he bidded you to wear a fringe. He didn't say, I command you. He said, I bid you. So that's not even commanding you to wear it, but he bidded you to wear a fringe just so you can understand about keeping these commandments so you don't get killed. But that's just me. I got a fringe on. This brother got on his regular attire. We both doing the same exact thing. Keeping the commandments of God, the testimony of Jesus. Trying to walk this thing all the way into the end. What makes me more righteous than he if I got on the fringe and he don't?
You're both working out your own salvation, trying to do it. You know, I just think like we both have, like both people have to, like, they be responsible to understand that.
No, I get that, sis. But what I'm saying is, what makes me greater at my walk than him? Because I got on a piece of attire and he don't, but he doing the same exact thing I'm doing. There's no difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we both counted equal in the eyes of God because what? We doing his will. The same with you and a sister sitting across from you. You know, like she doing everything you doing except for understanding that, I mean, Lord, I can try my best to do it, but will you hold me accountable because I didn't do it right because of the circumstances I'm in? Like, look at the circumstances that we're in. Isaiah 24 said it all. It said the whole earth is defiled by the inhabitants thereof. So in other words, all we doing, sis, is the best we can. When you talk about you blemishing your garments, how are you doing so when, you know, the bed you sleeping in might be unclean or might be defiled because of the cross linen that was made with the mattress. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to be technical, we got to go all the way into it because, like, I mean, shoot, you know, the dryer towel that we bought from Walmart, it might be some cross linen. We don't make our own fabric shops because We not in this government that we was set up in when we was in the land. It was a government setup where like they didn't even allow strangers into the land based upon the fact that they considered them to be the uncircumcised. So like, nah, you can't even come near this location. They had it so set up to the point where like, only one time a year, the high priest was able to go behind the veil of the temple. Once. Not every day, only one time. They had it so set to where you couldn't even work the offices of God unless you was a Levite, and you had to be, I think, either 21 or 25 years of age. Like you couldn't just walk in there and just start working the offices. You had to be trained up. They had it so down to the T that they had certain curtains in the tabernacle that was made of a certain type of linen. So in other words, the whole operation within Jerusalem was so set up and so perfect to what we can go and read it again in Revelation 22 or 21. It's set up perfect. So if that ain't the case, then how
It
you?
wouldn't be like, oh, well, we can do what we can, and it's not. To me, it's not like we do 0% or 100%. It's like we just try our best.
We trying our best by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. We can do that wherever. You know what I mean? I ain't got to be in the land not to know not to sleep with this brother wife. You know what I mean? I ain't got to be in the land not to know not to, steal from you when you leave out here in the lobby area to go check on the baby or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't need to be in the land to do that. I don't need to be in the land to understand that sundown Friday, we going into the weekly Sabbath. Sundown on the 7th day, we ending the weekly Sabbath. I ain't got to be in the land to understand that, hey, I don't supposed to be working today.
Yeah.
I don't need to be in the land to understand that. So in other words, we doing these commandments 100%.
Yeah.
Not the best way we can. We doing them the only way we can, and that's what thus say the Lord. So, the cleanliness law, I mean, hey, I don't knock nobody who try to do it, but
It's kind of like, well, there's a little bit of this or a little bit of that in the food we eat, so
there's a lot.
like
You don't
it's not a perfect.
you don't own your own cow, do you? I know brother Dwight. He in Kansas somewhere. He got a lot of cattle. But he still gotta take that cattle to a slaughterhouse to get it slaughtered. And more than likely, it may become unclean by some reason of the previous animal. I don't know. But all we doing is, again, the best we can in the land of our captivity. And the way we do is keep these commandments, laws, and statutes until the Lord return. And Lord willing, you'll get up in the first resurrection. If not, you could be here waiting Jesus set up his kingdom for 1,000 years, and you will see what we read in, Numbers and Leviticus all over again. What you got, Vince?
I just really want to comment. Sometimes you be overzealous. You know what I mean? Because, just like you said, the Pharisees, they knew the law, they knew all this stuff, but then they started creating their own laws. You know what I mean? So that's why Jesus got on them about, hey, look at that, y'all doing too much. You know what I mean? And Paul, for example, he was overzealous when it came to the law. Even though he knew the law up and down, forward, backward.
He was.
Guess what? He still had it wrong. Know why? Because he left out Jesus.
Yep.
That's why he said, Saul, Saul, why did I persecute me? But Paul knew the law up and down. He was a Pharisee of Pharisees. He knew the law. But he said, I said it all done when it came out, man. Christ tried to put his boots on, like, look at him, Paul. The law ain't good enough, bro. You got to come to me. And once we know the truth, then Paul, like, okay, now I got it. Sometimes you be overzealous. Like I said, we doing the best we can. Because everything really is virtually unclean. Like I said, the whole world is defiled. Everything is defiled. The foods you eat, you think it ain't defiled till you find the ingredients like, darn. I have pork in this. You know what I mean? Like gelatin and all that. And I just heard recently, like, pork was in, Jiffy Mix.
Yep.
Like, come on, bro.
Yep.
So what can you got to be careful. Everything defiled now.
They put it in you.
Yeah.
A heart valve, I paid.
Hey, I'm sorry. What you got, brother? Cause I got somewhere to back up that I wanted to go and read with that John chapter 1. But what you was just saying, brother? X?
No, I was just saying in the hospital, if you need a vein,
Oh yeah, you gotta get it from a pig.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got a skin grab right here. I got pork skin right here.
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
You unclean.
Your
You can't rub your elbow. You can't rub your elbow on me.
I just told him that.
We can't rub elbows, bro. I can't rub elbows with you.
That's a prime example right there. When I got an accident, right, I had to get a skin grab, and they did it with.
We scared and we got loud.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What do you care? I'm a thunder, you know. But that's what they do. They're in some cases, like you said, they use the pork. That's close skin
Yeah.
contact to human skin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I just took that back. But I know they did. They took some off my thigh and put it over there for a little.
Okay, I'm glad you. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, let's go and look at this on. Hold on. Huh? What?
Ain't nobody online.
Oh, that's cool. We gonna go read this last place. And if nobody else ain't got none, we gonna close it up. What is that way on? I got it. Matthew 23. Yep. We're gonna look at this. Matthew 23 and I know it when I get there. Matthew 23, and let's pick it up at Pick it up at 23, and let's just start at verse 1. Mike asleep. He sleep.
Then
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I don't know. I want to read this after we read John 1, but go ahead. We'll read it now. Go ahead.
Then spoke Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
Yup. Go ahead.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe and do, but do not ye after the work, for they say and do not.
So the Pharisees, they want you to do this and they ain't even doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is why we gonna understand is Jesus said, make sure your righteousness outdo the Pharisees. Because they be on something else. But keep going on. What it say in verse 4?
For they bind heavy burden and grieve to become
be born.
They grieve to born
Go ahead.
and lay them upon men's shoulders.
You see that? They got these grievous burdens. You know, that's why they was all out to Paul. You know what I mean about circumcision, circumcising under the law of Moses, circumcised under the law of Moses. But yet they believe after the law of Moses. Just because they ain't go through a carnal ordinance, even though they still have to do that. But that was their objective. So, you know what we see in verse 4, it says, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne and lay them on men's shoulders. What else it says?
And they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers.
So they ain't going to do it. What does it say in verse 5?
But all their work they do for to be seen of men.
So they want to be seen of men. You know, they want to be looked at. They want to be glorified. You know, they want to be talked about. Keep reading.
They may bore their phylacteries and enlarge the border of their garment.
Go ahead.
And love the uppermost room at feasts and the chief seat in the synagogue.
Keep reading.
And greeting in the market.
See that? They want to be seen of men. They want to be greeted in the market. They want to have the chief seats. You know, they sit in Moses' seat now. You know, these are supposed to be the ones, because they operate in the law of Moses, but that's all they drilling on. That's all they drilling on. Keep going, though.
And to be called the men, Rabbi.
Go ahead.
But be not you called Rabbi, For one is your master, even Christ, and all are brethren.
Skip down to 21 and read that.
And whosoever shall swear by the temple swears by it, and by him that dwelleth therein. And he that shall swear by heaven swears by the throne of God,
Go ahead.
and by him that sitteth thereupon.
Check this out. Verse 23.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisee, hypocrite, for you pay tithes of mint and anise and common, and have omitted the weighted matter of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith.
You see that? They don't omit it. The weightier matters of the law, because what? They paying their tithes with, anise and mint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, they want to be seen of men. Guess what they don't did? They have omitted the weightier matters of the law, which is judgment, mercy, and faith. Keep reading.
These ought ye to have done, and not to have the other undone.
You see that? Not to leave the other undone. This is what you're supposed to have done, but you left them undone. Verse 24.
You blind guide, which string at a gnat and swallow a camel.
You see that? They swinging at a small matter. You know what I mean? But they swallowing something big. They want you to swallow. So that's what it said. It says what? Hey, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Verse 25.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrite! For you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess.
So on the outside, it looks good. That's what he getting at. You look good on the outside, but on the inside, you wicked. You know what I mean? Like you want somebody to do this, but you ain't willing to do it. You know what I mean? At the uncleanliness, hey, you can do whatever you can, but at the same time, we understand Jesus brought mercy and truth. So guess what you up under? You up under mercy. That's just because of the fact that you ain't in the land, you ain't able to keep this law all the way to how we see it's written. You fall under mercy, which is the blood of Christ. Keep reading though. What else it says?
Then blind Pharisee cleaned first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also.
Go ahead.
Woe unto the scribe and the Pharisee, hypocrite! For you are like unto white sepulchre, which indeed appear beautiful outside,
Go ahead.
but are within full of dead men's bones.
Wow.
And of all uncleanness.
So on the outside, you look like a whited sepulcher. You look beautiful. But on the inside, you like dead men bones. Verse 28.
Even so, you also outward appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrite and iniquity.
Go ahead.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrite, because you build a tomb of the prophet and garnish the sepulchre of the righteous. And say, if we have been indeed in the day of our father, we would have been partaker with them in the blood of the prophet. Wherefore you be witness unto them to yourself that you are the children of them which killed the prophet.
That's it on that. So the Lord getting at the Pharisees, man. He like, you the children of the ones that killed the prophet. Yeah. You look good on the outside, but inwardly you wicked as all get out. So, as far as in the Pharisee, that's what the Lord meant when he said, let your righteousness be more righteous than the Pharisees, because they was good for only one thing, looking good on the outside, but on the inside, they was wicked as all get out. So, just knowing that, if you want to do it, that's your call, but what you doing it for? You doing it to be looked at as righteous, or you doing it, See, it's kind of like it's a mindset. You know what I mean? Like you want to be seen of men, or you just doing it. Want to be seen of women, or you just doing it. All right, that's really what the Lord was getting at with the scribes and Pharisees. So,
It's gonna create strife in the end.
I don't think I get looked at very slightly.
Yeah.
I think I'm looked at as foolish, but whatever.
Say it again, sis. I ain't hear you.
Really, I think if I was to do something like that out of conviction, I would just be looked at as foolish. It's not like I would be trying to be looked at highly of man. Really, trying to live in conviction, and then
I wasn't saying you, Claire. I was saying in general. Like,
But
yeah.
I get it though. I mean, like, and this is the way that the Lord, I guess, set it up. For now, He set it up that way. It's where you do the feasts and the commandments, and you know what I mean. And you're good, I guess. So,
you want to do more?
well, yeah. I mean, naturally. I mean,
What-
like, but isn't that what happens? Like, the Holy Spirit, like, gives you more understanding, and you continue to, like, become more like Christ and stuff.
Well, I mean, that's what you're doing. That's what the Bible is doing. The more you eat the word, this is holy. So the more you continue to eat this, like, we become Christ-like. It's like we trying to get all the way there, but we need to cover this, and right here. We might need to work on being, better towards our neighbors. Or we might need to work at being better towards our wives or better towards our husbands. You know what I mean? Like, we might need to work on, not going out there and grabbing coffee on the Sabbath. Them small things. Or putting your food on your dashboard. Them small things. Because food on your dashboard, what you trying to do? Trying to keep your food warm. The Lord said do that all on Friday. Now, there ain't no law in the Bible that say thou shalt not put your food on your dashboard. But what did the Lord say in Exodus 16? He said, make sure you prepare all of this on Friday before the Sabbath.
Yeah.
So come after the Sabbath, when you enter the Sabbath, if it ain't done, then you need to eat it where it is. But now when you trying to put it on the dashboard or this and that, because I've been doing it myself, but I've been convicted behind it because of the fact that what I have read is that, okay, I want my food warm. That's why I put it on the dashboard. Mm-hmm. I want my food hot. That's why I was doing it. I'm pretty sure everybody else who did it was doing it that way as well. But we can see that God said, hey, man, make sure your food be cooked. Bake what you're going to bake. See what you're going to see Friday before the Sabbath. Hey, before the Sabbath. You know what I mean? But like I said, that's within a mindset, though. You know what I mean? That's within your mind because of, like I said, even with the coffee. Like, them your servants. Them people out there, you know what I mean? Those are your servants. So, shoot, just for one day, we could be without this stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's a mindset, though. That's where it all started. So even with the cleanliness, like, it's a mindset. Why are we doing it? You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing all of this stuff? So if we trying to be Christ-like, then Christ wasn't doing stuff to be glorified of men. Not saying that's what you're doing, sis. But he was doing it according to Matthew chapter 5. We read that at the end of the class. Mm-hmm. Matthew 5 and verse 8. You know what I mean? You pure at heart, you're going to see God. So it's like, that's your way. You're going to read that Matthew chapter 5. You want to get those type of attitudes about yourself. You know what I mean? But let's go read that real quick. This will be the last place, and we're going to close out. Matthew chapter 5. But it's always a mindset. Always. I'm telling you, man, I was convicted. When I saw that, and then I thought about it, I was like, damn. But it's a mindset. Matthew chapter 5. Let's pick it up at verse 4. Go ahead.
Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
Yup.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Go ahead.
Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled.
They shall be filled. Go ahead.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
So if you can give mercy, you're going to receive it. Go ahead.
Blessed are the pure in heart,
Go ahead.
for they shall see God.
Pure at heart. I mean, your mind is right. And that's what we are working at. What it say in verse 9?
Blessed are the peacemakers,
Go ahead.
for they shall be called the children of God.
And it ain't nothing wrong with you being a peacemaker. You know, somebody step on your shoes in the club. Hey, man, ain't that big of a deal. I'll wipe him off. You know what I mean? Because he probably looking at you, or she looking at you with their fists clenched, waiting for you to say something stupid. And then you hit them with something soft. The book says soft answer turn away wrath. So you hit them with something, hey, man, you know what? Ain't nothing but a pair of shoes. You know what I mean? So that's what it says. It says what? Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. What is saying 10?
Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for there is the kingdom of heaven.
Verse 11.
Blessed are ye, when men shall revile you shall be persecuted.
Yep.
You and shall in all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake.
So just understand, man, these are mindsets that we want to have. You know what I mean? And with these mindsets, you already in a win-win because, you know, look at what Jesus did. Jesus, man, the devil told Jesus to throw himself from the highest pinnacle because them angels going to come and rend you up. You think Jesus threw himself from the highest pinnacle? Nah. He said, I ain't going to tempt the Lord. So Jesus was simple. That's what he was. He was simple. He healed the sick. You know, he gave sight to the blind, but he was simple. Those were the wonders that he was doing. But as far as him, like, you know, I mean, go ahead and fast 40 days and 40 nights. Tell me how you feel about that. Hey, you say you want to do something? You go ahead and fast 40 days and 40 nights. No, I know he died. Yeah, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But all I'm just saying is, huh? What you say?
He gonna take some insurance.
Nah, but you know that's I mean, you know, since you know God said simplicity. That's what he said. So, you know, he ain't trying to put no more on a man that he can't handle. You know, that's really it. Keeping the commandments is not simple. Just so I was hearing you. I see you, Vince. I was hearing you, and I was taking it like keeping the commandments is a light thing. No, I struggle with that every day. Me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it's not a light thing. You know what I mean? Whoever just all the way got it and know how to do it, hey, they got the battle half won. But it's not a light or easy thing for me. You know what I mean? But what you got, Brother Vince?
Yeah, we got a potential situation coming up, but I just wanted to get insight on, you know, how to handle it. Now, you know, she just got a job at Captain D's, glory to God, right? Now, the schedule is right now is day shift, right? We mentioned that, you know, we don't do this, don't do the thing this after the 5 to 7, so we don't want to work on this after blah, blah, blah. He knew all that coming forward to the job, so. And then later, the manager seemed like she got some insight or some knowledge, cause my wife said she heard over there saying that she for the job at judo, but you know, she might also understand about the thing. But now, starting Monday, her shift gonna switch from like 3 till maybe 7. And you know how that
Get dark
like
early.
6, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh God, now we got ready for that face of dilemma. I said, well, darn, baby, that's kind of working into the Sabbath, you know what I mean?
Right.
And see, by her probation officer getting this job, you know, we don't want to, you know, feel like she want to quit the job and be valid the probation, you know what I mean? It's a sticky situation, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, I'm praying to God, how do we handle this, you know what I mean? Because he just got the job, probation officer got the job, and, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow.
Right.
I told
We
you
trying to see how, you know what I mean? Because I knew it could be a potential problem. But
Honestly, she's reasonable. She works with me. Like, because the reason she switched to the night shift is because I have classes that I have to go to in order to during the day. And she was like, well, if I keep you on day, you're not going to get enough hours. So she was trying to do the night. But then I told her I couldn't work past basically 6. I told her, I said, as long as I get off at least between 6 and 7. But I'm thinking if I ask her, can I go an hour early on Friday? I'm quite sure she'll do it, just so that I don't.
So you asked to be swapped from day shift, or
No, she's doing it because of my classes that I have during the day. Because I miss my whole shift because of my classes. So she's trying to make it to where I can still get the hours and still do my classes in operation.
oh,
because y'all class prohibitions like what? Wednesdays to 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. See, so that'll kind of mess with her hours. So she's trying to get a schedule where she can do a probation plus get some hours at work too when they want class together. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Captain D's, they run 7 days a week, don't they?
Yeah. So, but like, she's supposed to come in and let me know if I work tomorrow, but I don't go to work on Saturdays.
So you work, how many days a week you work? 6 days?
But she don't know she got a schedule. She's just in training right now.
Why they want that? Why they want to ask? Can they give you Sunday through Thursday? Sunday through Thursday. Yeah, they're asking can y'all give me just Sunday through Thursday?
Yeah,
You know.
Give you insights. I've been toiling with this. I'm like, Lord, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to defile the Sabbath. I don't want to defile the Sabbath by no means. So I'm like, I might, get some insight because somebody come up, all the come to the situation I thought kind of bothered me. I'm like, man.
Yeah, just ask them, can you?
Got the job, but darn, you know what I mean?
Just ask them, man, like, cause this mean more than your job. You know what I mean? I wanna work for you guys, but this is the one thing I ask y'all to do, accommodate me with this, and I can't work. I can't work Friday night. I can't work going until Friday night.
Right.
And I can't work Saturday. So y'all give me a Sunday through Thursday job, a Sunday through Thursday schedule. You just gotta stay. You just gotta stay in their ear.
Yeah.
You got to.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But
Thank you, cause that kind of boss on like, you know what, Lord,
I got something going on like that right now, but they already know. You know, like, so they willing to accommodate. I run Sunday through Thursday. I'll be backwards and forth here. You know what I mean? Going from Atlanta to Jacksonville. So Sunday through Thursday. So the minute I ever get in that threshold of crossing into going into a Friday, I'll be quick to be like, y'all can have this. You know, because it all boils down to your faith.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it ain't, I'll be honest, like, I did get a little down in my faith with taking this position because it was a decrease. Yeah, we got time. We got 6 minutes before we get up out of here. Well, nah, that's good. We can go to the question.
Can you repeat your question? What's your question?
So the money that the people in Israel are getting, right, from America, is that the reason why, like it's basically in the book that no man shall buy us, no man can save us, because technically the way that the world is acting is like they're mixed in Israel for us to be okay.
No, Deuteronomy 28 and 68 is nobody's gonna free you from your captivity until the Lord returns. It ain't got nothing.
Nah, she understands that. She's saying, is that the reason that can that be a part of? She's saying, can that be a part of why Israel's still in captivity? Because Esau got everybody in the pot to where they dividends is going to them, so nobody can remember Israel. So like that's why we're not being bought and sold. They forgot about us.
Yeah, like they paying them off, or is that what it is? Kind of.
We'll read one verse real quick. Isaiah chapter 11. See, you gotta realize, like, man ain't got no control of this. Cause if man had control of it, they would have been dropped the ball. We'd probably be free by now. They would have made a mistake. They would have been like, oh shoot, we let them go free. We ain't even mean to do that. Kind of like what Pharaoh did. You know what I mean? Like, but the Lord was hard and Pharaoh was hard. And like, when Pharaoh realized what he had did, he let the children of Israel out of Egypt. Something stirred up his spirit again, and he was like, "Nah, we got to go and get them." So you got to realize, like, if man was behind the fact that why we in our captivity, man, they would have been on screwed it up. They would have been on screwed it up, and some way or another, we'll probably be out of captivity to this day. Seriously. But let's look at this Isaiah chapter 11. And
I'm gonna use your point out so that way I can, because it don't look like the kids are figuring out. I'm sorry, bro. I'm just trying to be able to hear you.
okay. Isaiah chapter 11. And let's pick, no, my bad. Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14. And let's pick it up at, where is it at? Is it 13? Isaiah, hold on for a second. Let me look at my own my marked up Bible. Yeah, Isaiah chapter 11, and look at look at 11. Isaiah 11 and 11, and we're looking at, when the Lord returned. When the Lord returned, this is what he's going to do. Isaiah 11 and 11. She could hear us on this, or?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead and read, bro.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand against the second time to recover the raiment of the people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Patrah and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from the Hamath and from the island of the sea.
Let's go over to Joel chapter 3. So we're looking at the Lord gathering the children of Israel. That's what we're looking at. The Lord is the one that's going to spring us up out of captivity. Like, you got to realize the money market can crash. The money market can crash at any given time. Now Esau them ain't got no money to keep us held in captivity. Now we about in captivity. You see how that works? Nah, it's God. God is the one that got his hand in all this. So God is the one that's going to return and gather us. He's the one that sent us into captivity. He's the one that's going to bring us up out of captivity. Joel chapter 3, and check out what the Lord said in this first verse. Joel 3 and 1. Go ahead and read that.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
So he ain't talking about, going and getting you, you going back into captivity again. Nah, he talking about bringing you out of captivity. But all of this is going to occur at the coming of the Lord. So the Lord, he's going to come and gather the children of Israel again from captivity. What it say in verse 2?
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down unto the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations.
Let's go over to
my land.
Let's go over to the last place. Let's go over to Ezekiel 20. God is the one that's doing this, not man, sis, because our captivity is too perfect to say that man has their hand in this. They might be doing their little devices, or they might be doing things on the outside. That's what Zechariah tells you, is that they forward the affliction. You know what I mean? But the big scheme of it is God is the one that has his hand over all of this. So look at this Ezekiel. Look at this Ezekiel chapter 20. Hey, you'll mute your phone, sis?
Okay.
All right, go ahead and read verse 34. Go ahead. 33. Go ahead. 32. My bad. Go ahead.
And that which cometh unto your mind shall not be at all that you say, we will be as the heathen, as the famine of the country to serve wood and stone.
Go ahead.
As I live, said the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, I will rule over you.
Keep reading.
And I will bring you out from the people.
Hold on. Who gonna bring you out? The Lord is gonna bring you out. We ain't coming out of captivity until the Lord bring us out. So we saw in Isaiah chapter 11, we saw that the Lord gonna gather us from all black nations because that's where we scattered at. Even the islands of the sea, that's what the western hemisphere of the country is, America, all the way down to North America and South America and Central. It ain't nothing but islands of the sea. So that's where the Lord gonna gather us from there. Then he also said what? In that Joel chapter 3, he gonna gather us again. And not only that, he gonna go down to the valley of Jehoshaphat and fight against those that spoiled us. Then now what we're looking at Ezekiel chapter 20. We seeing now how the Lord is the one that's doing all of this. He's the one that's gathering us because when he returned, that's what tabernacle is all about. Tabernacle is about the Lord gathering the children of Israel, putting them in their land, and we're looking at parts of it right here in this Ezekiel chapter 20. So it says in what? Verse 34, what are you going to do again? Verse 34, go ahead.
And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the country where you are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out.
Go ahead.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
Go ahead.
Like as I pleaded with your father in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said the Lord God.
Hey, this is the last place. Go over to Isaiah 65. The last place. Check this out. Isaiah 65. No, Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66 and pick it up at verse 20. Go ahead.
And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto the Lord out of all nations, upon horses and in carriage.
Hold on. They're going to be brought up on horses and chariots. Keep reading.
And in litter upon mules, and upon swift beasts, to my holy mountain, Jerusalem, said the Lord, as the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel unto the house of the Lord.
So they're going to be brought up as like they're offering unto God. But what? The Gentiles, they are going to be bringing them up on chariots, mules, swift beasts to the holy mountain of Jerusalem. That's where the Lord going to be at. So the Lord is the one that's going to be doing all of this. You know, it ain't got nothing to do with what Esau. Like I said, you know, they might, you know, have a little bit of weight in it, but as far as in the overall situation, God is the one that's pulling the strings. He pulling the punches. This all God doing. So, you know, with that being said, we finna close it out. All right, so we finna close out. I went 4 minutes over, but, you know, sorry. All right.
Ready. Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth
Thy will be done in
as
earth
it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread,
And forgive us our debt,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our
And
debtors.
lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
In Jesus' holy name we pray.
In Jesus' holy name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.